Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm the Game Bastard Kyle.
I'm the Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.
Today we are playing Monster of the Week, an RPG by Michael Sands. It's about regular men and women, brave Americans, and people from other countries that go out and hunt monsters each week at Saturday night at 5 p.m. I don't know why it's so specific, but that's in the rule. Look, if you don't believe me, buy a copy of the rules and look in it. Well, we've made characters for Monster of the Week. We're going to play some Monster of the Week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because that character creation would have been a waste of fucking time.
So, Austin, tell me about your character.
So, in the course of creating these characters, we were able to select basically archetypes. Kyle, what are those called here?
Playbooks. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, and so it's all playbooks.
Which, if you listen to our Brindlewood Bay, it's the same system.
That's right. Yeah.
As well as
Root.
Yeah. The cuddly animals game.
Yeah. Both of them fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one we could select basically the playbook we wanted to use to create our character. And I chose the Monstrous because I learned recently that I love playing half human, half feral creature.
Your Eat the Right character was a lot of fun, where you were the half man, half vampire bat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your inarticulate screeching spoke
But
to
also
me.
in Deadlands when I was half human, half Canadian.
Oh, come on.
Look, why are we bagging on Canadians?
Just joshing. We love Canadians.
It's not like they're from Ohio.
Yeah.
We apologize to all nations.
And so I'm a werewolf.
Yeah.
We have a few attribute ratings that we'll be using for basically all of the actions in this game. If you'll recall, Powered by the Apocalypse uses specified moves that are powered and enhanced by your ratings. For this game, it's cool, tough, charm, sharp, and weird. And those can be used for everything from acting under pressure to attacking, which in this game is known as kicking ass, protecting, manipulating, using magic, etc. Mine are, since I'm monstrous, focused more on the weird side. And in fact, for many of my abilities, I can substitute weird for the other ratings that are required for things. So, for example, normally where you would use toughness for your kick-ass move, I can use weird. The book actually had kind of a template for how to create a werewolf, and I used most of it. I kind of veered off in some areas. So I've got teeth, claws, as far as natural attacks go. For monstrous moves, I have Shapeshifter, obviously, and Unholy Strength. That's what allows me to use the weird rating. But the curse that you are burdened with, just as a monstrous character, normally for a werewolf would be a vulnerability, i.e. things like Silver or Wolfsbane, something like that. For our gameplay, that wasn't going to be as fun. So I went with a feed curse, which means that you basically have to drain the essence of someone or, feed off of other people as an instinct. And if you need to resist that, you have to make an act under pressure roll.
When you said feed, I was like, oh, he likes Cracker Barrel.
No, I actually meant like feet. I'm Tarantino, and who's a werewolf.
Oh, that's worse than Colostomy
Just
Dave.
turns feral when Uma takes her shoes off.
And the other thing Austin changed, he's actually a weird-duck.
I spent probably an inordinate amount of time, around 10 minutes, seeing if I could make that work.
Or werehorse.
I do have to mention there is one of the playbooks just called Mundane, which is you're just a guy.
Right.
And
you could have combined it and been the werehorse and you just graze.
It's super easy.
Yeah.
Just find a field.
I had to fight everybody else off to avoid getting saddled with that.
Mine and Corey's character ride you everywhere.
It'd be fun.
That's all I'm for.
You have asthma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Legolas and Gimli.
So that's it. I'm Cheney the werewolf.
Cheney?
Yeah.
Cheney, like Lon Chaney.
Ah,
No, like Dick.
Jesus.
Okay.
So much worse.
One of his special moves is he shoots his best friend in the face.
No, yes, like Lon Chaney Jr., the famous.
Corey, what about your character?
Well, I chose the expert as my archetype. Basically, just kind of a nerd. He just knows a bunch of shit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my character's name is Curtis Knickerbocker.
Nice.
He's 29 years old, lives in his grandmother's basement, or his nana, as
Sure.
he called her.
Yeah.
So his greatest stat is sharp.
He's smart.
Yeah, he knows some shit. We all have special moves that are unique to our character that we chose as well. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah, in a Powered by the Apocalypse game, every all the characters will have some general moves. What are some of the basic moves you got, Corey? Not the special ones, the general ones all hunters have.
Act under pressure, help out, investigate a mystery, kick some ass, manipulate someone, protect someone, read a bad situation, and use magic.
Yeah, so they can all do those things, but they'll each have their own special moves. Like Austin's werewolf is probably like do werewolf stuff.
One thing the expert has is a haven. It's his Nana's basement. Basically, it's safe from monsters there. There are things that monsters can deploy to get past the protection wards, I guess, of Nana's ring camera. Then we all have gear and stuff like that. That'll come up as well.
Todd?
The playbook I chose was the Initiate, a member of an ancient order that has been fighting monsters since the dawn of time.
Okay.
And my character's name is Melvis Prensley.
Okay.
All right.
A lot of people don't know this, but Elvis Presley did not die. He was simply chosen by the sect and faked his death, and he's been fighting monsters ever since. It
Yeah.
is the actual Elvis Presley, and he's immortal now.
Well, sure, that's a given.
Yeah. The name of the name of the sect is TCB, baby. Taking care of business.
That's definitely what he calls it. There may be a different name.
Sure.
It's actually TCM, taking care of monsters. Right.
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
He is proficient in the ancient fighting arts, karate.
Yes. So he's immortal. Did he get immortalized in the state Elvis was in when he supposedly died? So he's very bloated and
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eternally full of stool.
And stoned.
Yeah. His ratings, he's a +2 for tough, and a +2 for weird. 0 cool points. And
Elvis?
Look, we can all agree Elvis once had cool points.
Well, that's true.
if he had joined in the 50s,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be out of the roof.
also -1 for charm and sharp.
I just imagine that the reason why Elvis, what he became a DEA agent, essentially.
Yeah.
He just got confused about what the order was. And somebody asked him, so like, what did you join? I was basically the DEA.
Yeah. The DEA, Demon Eradication Agency.
And Nixon just went with it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, yes, Elvis fucking went to the White House, fucking strapped,
Yeah. he
and
did.
was only relieved of his weapons right before going into Nixon's fucking office, and was made an actual DEA operative.
And I believe actually attempted to arrest some people after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spiro Agnew.
Yeah.
They had to get him out of the office super quick.
He started giving Nixon some side eye.
He has a strong body. It's large. He wears unfashionable clothes.
Sure.
Constipated.
By the way, both Corey and Austin's characters are also a member of the TCB sect.
Yeah.
Recruited by Elvis,
Yeah.
basically. Melvis, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. And then he's loaded for bear. He's got a couple of guns. He's got a .38 revolver and a 9mm. And then he's also got some fighting sticks, nunchucks, a crossbow and a silver knife, and some old-fashioned armor, which he has fashioned to look like a white jumpsuit.
Wow.
Looks like fucking Mithril.
Is this the first time we've had Elvis as a player character?
No.
Because it seems like something we should have done before.
Fallout.
Okay. Yeah.
right. Yep.
Duke
Yeah.
Fury.
Duke Fury.
Duke Fury was Elvis.
Yeah.
Future Elvis.
Well, a descendant of.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, if he's immortal, it
he's
could have
immortal.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I like all supernatural mystery shows or movies. This story takes place in Memphis,
Right.
or at least that's where the game will begin.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the last part of character creation, which is histories. And this is a mechanic that the game uses to establish a connection between the characters. You start the game, all the characters know each other. They're all part of some sort of coherent unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, much like Good Society, we were kind of given an allotted list of various kinds of connections, and we went around the table and assigned one of those connections to each of our compatriots.
So, Todd, what did you choose for Austin and Corey? Or should I say, what did Melvis choose for Cheney and Curtis?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, for old Cheney right there, we met when I tried to slay him when he was wolfing out. But then when he turned back into a human, he asked the king for an autograph. And I was like, you're all right, kid.
Good boy.
Perhaps found a weakness in Elvis's armor.
For old Curtis over here, we were taught by the same master, and he was kind of a nerdy kid. I used to make fun of him for being the teacher's pet.
I mean, I think I know why Curtis was the teacher's pet.
You would think it would be Cheney.
Corey, what did Curtis choose for Cheney and Melvis?
Well, I met Cheney. He came to me for advice
Sure.
because he had just been bitten by a werewolf
Uh-huh.
and asked what he should do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, become a werewolf.
Which I then did.
Right.
Yeah, my connection for Curtis was that I nearly killed him.
That makes sense.
But he stopped me.
When Cheney turned into the werewolf, we were in a car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. And so I rolled down the window,
He just.
and he couldn't resist sticking his head out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the weirdest thing you would see on a highway.
Yeah, I drove till dawn.
Oh, please don't run out of gas.
And then for Melvis, like Todd said, we were taught by the same master. I was the teacher's pet.
And the master's name was Colonel Tom Parker.
Yes. He's a dog. And I'm actually described in the Sext's prophecy, the TCB's prophecy.
That is the prophecy of the sect.
Right. So
Yeah.
one day, a dude that lives with his nana will come. But it doesn't state what my role is in the prophecy. It just
Yeah,
describes
yeah.
me. Yeah.
But Melvis knows it's important, so he
Yeah.
wants to. That's one of the reasons why they teamed up.
Austin, what about Cheney and Melvis and Curtis?
Yeah, as Corey described, my connection with him was that I nearly killed him. For Melvis, I knew him in his past life
As Elvis.
and was a fan.
Oh, so your character then is quite old as well. Or at least you, I guess you could have
I'm
just
every bit as
recognized
old
him.
as I was when I got bit.
Well, what year?
Oh, no.
What year is this set in?
2021.
Wow.
I wanted to take it back a bit.
So Delta variant.
Yeah, Delta variant.
Yeah.
Oh, it's middle of COVID. No,
Well, oddly enough, Delta variant and hope for the future.
that's true.
Hey.
So it's just generic modern day.
So Melvis can just walk around. There's so many Elvises in Memphis. It doesn't matter. He can walk around anywhere.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a bit of background on where you guys are stationed. You are all officially employees of the Graceland Museum. Now you'd be like groundskeepers or janitors or maintenance guys.
I think Curtis is the tour guide.
Probably a tour guide. Yeah, that makes sense.
He's an expert.
Melvis's favorite thing to do is riding lawnmower out there and mow the lawn in his jumpsuit.
Yeah. And so nobody looks at Melvis twice. Because
Yeah.
it's a guy dressed as Elvis at the Graceland Museum. Of course there's a guy dressed as Elvis at the Graceland Museum.
Sure.
And in one of the janitorial closets, you have a secret door that leads to your ready room where all your supernatural hunting stuff is.
Cool.
Because the taking care of business order is actually the Ordo Tenebris Captivitatis Bellua.
I see.
Or
I can see why they.
yeah,
Right.
you can see why Elvis shortened it.
Yeah.
It goes back a ways to the days of ancient Rome. Occasionally, the order will assign you a job of hunting down a monster, but you can also pursue your own leads as they come to you. You're paid a salary by the order that also owns Graceland. Elvis signed it over to him in return for immortality. Or at least he hasn't died yet, and they just told him it was immortality.
Oh, and the airplane at Graceland that belonged to Elvis.
Yeah.
The Lisa Marie. It's actually operational.
That's how you guys gallivant around the country. So it's a late night at Graceland. Curtis has just closed the doors on the last cheer group and locked up. Melvis is in one of the maintenance sheds cleaning grass out of the bottom of a mower. Cheney is mopping a hallway. The full moon's a couple weeks away, so he doesn't have to worry about being locked in the basement wrapped in silver chains.
Oh, yeah, I'm all good. I do occasionally chase cars that drive up to Graceland, but
Yeah.
We actually chain him up in the jungle room.
Yeah.
And you all have beepers, which everyone that comes through thinks is quaint. But this is because the TCB hasn't updated their technology in 20 years. They're old, and they're a bit behind the times. But all your beepers go off, and you know that means to gather in the ready room for a transmission. So you guys head to the secret janitorial closet. Todd, how is the secret door activated to get into your ready room in Graceland? Because, of course, the exterior is just a normal janitorial closet, shelves with cleaning products, there's a mop in the corner, rubber gloves, that sort of thing.
Well, see, if you want to get into the secret closet, you got to know the secret password, and you got to type it in on the keypad, and that password is clam bake.
You type clam bake into the concealed pad, and the door slides open, and you go into a high-tech ready room. By high tech, I mean late 80s computers equipment, filing cabinets. There's a ham radio, and then you each have your own separate rooms where you keep all your personal items.
It's kind of like the hatch in Lost.
And one of the monitors is blinking.
It's a monitor for a Commodore 64.
Yeah, that's a given. And you turn it on, and you see the face of the current director of the TCB, Paul Mosseri, based on Patreon member Paul Mosseri.
Thank you, Paul.
Says, gentlemen, we have some interesting leads I'd like you to come to the pyramid to discuss.
All right, Memphis Mafia, you heard the man. Let's shake a leg and get down there to that pyramid.
Now, of course, he does mean the pyramid in Memphis, which is today a Bass Pro Shop.
It's true.
And you go through, you put on street clothes, you drive down, you park, you get into the Bass Pro Shop, make your way through the various consumer goods, and you tip your hat at Bubba near the fishing lures. And he opens the secret door in the wall that's concealed by one of the giant fish tanks, and you can take the private elevator up to the top of the pyramid.
Guys, we're going to have to hurry. I got to be home at 9 to put Nana's foot medicine on her.
The elevator door opens, and Paul Mosseri is in a fine suit, standing with his back, these windows overlooking Memphis. The sun is setting in the west. He says, I'm afraid Nana's foot cream will have to wait,
Oh.
Curtis.
Snickets.
Don't worry, I'll send Bubba over to help in your stead.
Oh, thank you.
Hold on there, P-Man. I got a quick question for you really quick before we get down to brass tacks. I just want to know, down there in that Bass Pro Shop, why do they make them rubber worm lures look so much like gummy worms? Makes me want to eat them. And I tried to eat one time, and it fooled the king.
I think they're good.
They weren't gummy at all.
Gentlemen, as I've explained before, we don't own the Bass Pro Shop. They simply rent. If you could stop handling their merchandise on your way to meet me, that would be wonderful. There's been a number of complaints.
I'm going to pick me up a bucket of night crawlers on the way out.
I expect it from the dog man.
Yeah, some of those taxidermied animals just look so tasty.
I got hurt by a hook. And I'm allergic to fish.
We're getting some interesting news stories out of Panama City Beach. I'd like you to take the Lisa Marie and go investigate.
Oh, God.
There have been 2 shark attacks in 2 days, both fatal. Well, our experts on the ground, our people in connections with the local mortuary have been able to make them be passed off as shark attacks. Last time I checked, sharks don't exsanguinate their victims.
All fish are potentially dangerous. I got bit by a betta fish one time and my whole hand swelled.
Yes, I know. Thank you, Curtis.
He's told that story so many times.
Yeah.
Tell you what, P-Man, I don't mind to go down there to Panama City at all because, you know what, they used to have a place down there called the Club Tropicana. Played it in 1970 when I was on a break from my shows at Vegas. Good crowd, kissed every woman in the audience, made out like a bandit.
And I've never gotten to go on spring break.
I'm going to need to swing by Nana's and get my sunscreens
Sure.
and my little parasol.
Gentlemen, take all the gear you think you need, but get down there and deal with this. We don't want any more spring breakers being killed. This could be a rogue vampire, a chupacabra. There's any number of monsters. But just deal with it safely, discreetly.
No problem. I can blend in as a young partier pretty easily. Sand hurts me.
But Elvis, as I'm sure you know, of course, Panama City Beach figures heavily in, and he leans forward, the prophecy. And he distinctly does not look at Curtis.
You are certainly right about that, P-Man. Thanks for the tip. And I tell you what, when we get down there to Panama City Beach, I'm not going to be wearing my jumpsuit. I'm going to be wearing street clothes so I can blend in. I'm going to put on my black gi.
And I know I don't have to elaborate on the details of the prophecy, Elvis. I know you read all of the ancient scrolls and manuscripts that we gave you and committed it all to memory.
Yeah, sorry about that time that I actually recorded them as songs back there in the 60s. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, well-versed is what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much.
All Shook Up actually predicted so many earthquakes.
There was a weird prophecy about kissing cousins, but we don't talk about that.
That was actually not in our prophecies. That was just Elvis. But gentlemen, that's all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
Yeah, so what's the mayor have to say about these shark attacks?
Following the Jaws rule, we don't talk to the mayors.
Who's your favorite X-Men?
Professor Xavier.
Okay. I like Wolverine.
I know. You didn't have to say anything.
You know what I'm going to do before we get down there? On the way down there on the plane, I'm going to place a phone call to my buddy down there in Panama City. His name is Ron Kapowski. He has a boat. That's right. His name is Captain Ron, and we're going to go out on his boat and investigate this mess.
I'm allergic to heights.
All right, gentlemen, I think that will be all.
Okay, bye.
Please carry out your mission and report back as soon as you can. But let's protect the good people of Panama City.
Curtis, buddy, make sure you take plenty of Dramamine because we're going to be in the air for about 4 hours.
I'm allergic to it.
So you guys leave the pyramid. You get out of the Bass Pro Shop without destroying too many of their products.
We just fucking pushing mannequins over and shit. What's this do?
Well, I picture Elvis like just being startled by the stuffed bear and just shooting it full of holes every time he walks by.
Kicking everything.
Just karate chopping it.
Curtis is a nerd, so he's definitely just blundering into things.
I believe it.
Elvis absolutely has to stop by and play that shooting game in Bass Pro Shops.
Every time he loses, he takes out his actual gun and puts a hole in it.
Obviously, you guys can take any of the equipment that your characters have. We'll assume you kind of take your default loadout
Yeah.
Okay.
on the Lisa Marie.
I picture like a suit up montage where each
Yeah.
of our quarters doors slide open dramatically, and Elvis gets all his weapons, and
I get my zinc.
White nose, yeah.
and Curtis has like a bandolier of allergy medication. And Cheney has ripped clothes and a 9mm.
There you go.
And-
Planning ahead.
He certainly is. He's killing himself someday, but
Damn.
not today.
Talking more about the ripped clothes, but okay. I guess suicide's on the table.
Well, he's a werewolf. Don't
It's a
they all hate that curse.
Oh, okay.
Curtis also borrows Cheney's cone from the last time he got sick.
Yeah.
But he's gonna wear it
Yeah.
as a hat to protect himself from the sun.
I imagine Curtis has sunscreen that's so powerful that you have to have a prescription to get it.
Oh, he looks like Brando in Island of Dr. Moreau.
So Elvis pilots the Lisa Marie. Excuse me. Melvis pilots the Lisa Marie to Panama City Beach. You land in the Panhandle at some podunk airport that the Order keeps a hangar in. And you've got a dossier with some basic information. It tells you about the 2 victims, where they were found in the water, various limbs missing, but exsanguinated. It's been 1 victim each day for the past 2 days. And so far, it's not spring break, but it's Panama City Beach, so there's tons of people there. And so far, the news of these shark attacks isn't really affecting the general mood of the town. Though if bodies keep dropping, eventually there will be some sort of panic, and people might start connecting more dots than can be kept safely under wraps.
Eventually, the number of these monster deaths will overcome the 5-a-day deaths from drugs during spring
Yeah.
break.
All the
Well,
fentanyl
yeah.
overdoses at Club La Vila.
Well, those don't make the news, Austin.
Well, yeah.
Nobody cares about those.
So before we go anywhere, you said we had a dossier with
Yeah.
the reports. Can Curtis kind of scrutinize those?
Absolutely.
Basically, I want to examine the bite marks on the dead teenagers to see if it matches up with shark attacks because he's an expert on getting bit by fish.
Sure.
That makes sense.
So you want to investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make your investigate move. So roll your sharp.
Is it possible to assist here?
You help out? Uh-huh. How are you
Cheney,
helping out?
Cheney has a sharp of +1. Having had to look through plenty of dossiers on maulings and stuff like that at this point just to make sure he didn't do it, he's gained some insight into monstrous attacks.
Yeah, you guys could be in the back going over what case files there are
Okay.
while Elvis is flying the plane.
Okay.
How does helping work?
So Austin makes his roll, and if he's successful, it gives you a bonus.
Okay.
So one of the basic moves, Austin, is help out. You help out another hunter. You roll your cool. On a 10 plus, you give them a +1 of their roll. On a 7 to 9, you give them +1, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger. On a miss, you expose yourself to trouble or danger without helping.
Okay. Well, I also have a +1 in cool. All right, so 2d6. I got a total of 5.
So that is a miss. So you're going to expose yourself to trouble or danger without helping.
Andy bites Curtis.
Cheney is trying to help Curtis go through the files, but what Cheney forgot is that he had been helping out at an animal shelter and patting a lot of cats, and the dander is stuck to his body, and this exacerbates Curtis's cat allergy. and he loses complete control of his mucous membranes.
My eyes are all swelled.
That's going to be 1 harm for Curtis.
Oh, goddamn. Fuck you.
Are you telling me exacerbated allergies would not be a harm equivalent
You
for
have
Curtis?
cat allergies.
Yeah.
You should be a little more sympathetic.
I know how brutal they are.
So I'm rolling my sharp.
You're rolling your sharp.
I got a +2 in sharp.
Yep.
That's a 8.
So essentially, you when you investigate a mystery, you generate holds. These are basically points where you can ask me questions. So you can ask me one of the following questions: What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
Okay, I'm going to stick with trying to identify what kind of bite marks it is. So I'm going to ask what kind of creature is this?
So from the coroner's reports, there aren't any bite marks on the neck, but there are bite marks on some of the limbs that have been seemingly ripped from the corpses, and those do match vampire bite marks. Though you've never seen a vampire dismember someone in quite this way. Usually a vampire feeds on a victim and then, leaves the body there, licks the wound close, and goes on about its day. But these have been dismembered and then exsanguinated.
Okay.
So I think what we're dealing with here is a vampire mermaid.
Let me write that down.
That'd be pretty cool.
Technically, we were supposed to do this right at the very beginning, but we haven't really gotten into the mystery yet. So when I'm in good standing with my sect, which I am at the beginning of the mystery, I can roll my charm, and if I get a 10 plus, the sect will provide some useful info or help in the field.
Okay.
On a miss, they're going to ask me to do something bad.
They're going to ask you to pants Curtis.
And surprisingly, Melvis's charm is a -1. That's an 8. That's not a miss, though.
That's a partial.
It says I get a mission associated with the mystery.
Oh,
So-
like a side quest?
Yeah.
Okay. Pants Curtis. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys land the Lisa Marie in Florida, the Panhandle, get in a rental car, head to a safe house. While Curtis and Cheney are getting some rest before you guys start your investigation the next day, Melvis heads out on the town in the late of night to meet his contact, Captain Ron. Where does Elvis meet Captain Ron?
On his boat down at the pier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's chumming the water when you get there while drinking a Mai Tai. He's got some fishing lines out. It's late. The water's quiet, though you can still hear the reveling from the beachgoers on down.
Anything happens in the water in Panama City, there's only one man I want to talk to, and that man is you, Captain Ron. What's your take on this whole kerfuffle?
Well, this Mai Tai's really good.
Mind if I make myself one of those?
Be my guest, King.
I need something to wash down my Percocet.
I got some lower tab. I grind it up, and I put it on I salt the rim.
We call that a Memphis margarita.
Well, look, whether it's a chupacabra or a vampire or a Nosferatu or just some kid that's got gangrene that's going crazy, I think that's what happens. The Order has a special initiative for you that they wanted me to pass on.
Suck it to me.
2 things. We think there's more than one whatever these are. 2, we want you to get one of them alive if you can. We didn't have any bloodsuckers to experiment on in quite a while.
All right, thank you, Captain Rod. That's a big 10-4.
Yeah.
Bring one in alive, and I think we got more than one. That must mean there's at least 2.
Yep. That's how numbers work.
Yeah. They don't call him the king for nothing. More like king of mathematics.
Yeah.
All right, Captain Ron, thank you for the drink. I'm going to head back to the motel and lay us info on my 2 compadres, the Memphis Mafia. You know who I'm talking about. They came down here with me, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yep. I'm going to poop off the side of the boat on these sharks.
I'm going to do that right beside you before I go.
That's more of a personal thing I do.
All right. I'll find another boat to poop off of.
Okay.
I feel like I got a brick in my stomach, boy. Let me tell you what.
I was about to say a lot of pooping for opiate addicts.
Curtis and Cheney are awakened in the safe house by the smell of coffee and bacon. Melvis is cooking bacon, has fresh coffee, and of course has not slept. Does Melvis sleep anymore, Todd?
Nope.
Start to say the night he died, like his cousin woke up at like 4 a.m. to play tennis.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Sure. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. and his cousin must have been a fun job.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I don't sleep in the nighttime. Sometimes I sleep in the daytime. I take a little power nap every now and then, and the king is good to go.
We should do a video.
We just started. Todd just illustrated the need for the YouTube.
So the three of you are up, ready. Day is breaking over Panama City. Most of the town's inhabitants, or rather the tourists, are hungover and asleep. Begin your investigation, gentlemen.
Well, fellas, I talked to Captain Ron last night, and he imparted some information. He had been in contact with the TCB. He says there's more than one of them things that's out there chomping on people. And we need to bring one of them in alive.
All right, I love playing fetch.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to take my CPAP machine off. Well, where should we go first?
What if we took a look at the morgue and examined those dead bodies more closely?
Okay, can we touch everything there like we do with the Mass Pyramid?
I probably not.
So when you need to conduct investigations, officially or unofficially, the order does provide you with fabricated credentials for the Department of the Interior.
Melvis still has his DEA badge.
Of course he does. Yeah.
I've still got my Starfleet uniform. Does that work?
Just finished up my Mando costume.
Coveted.
Three of you head to the Panama City Beach morgue.
Blurred.
Which one of you is talking your way past the actual authorities to get a look at
Not
the bodies?
it.
Well, Cheney has a charm of -1.
Yeah.
So does Melvis, but Melvis is gonna take the lead on this.
Curtis has a 0. Not the most charming bunch,
I know.
shockingly.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm assuming there's like some sort of desk sergeant or something there.
Yeah, the morgue is, I mean, it's not like part of the police, but it's de facto related. There's a cop on duty, but there's also just a receptionist that's, or front, like,
Well, the morgue is on the beach, so there's like a wooden ramp going up. So there's a ramp corporal at the top of it.
yeah, you gotta talk past the ram corporal. So yeah, there's a person you could talk. You'll have to talk your way past. The receptionist is Chris Riley. Is at the front of the morgue.
And in walks Melvis. He's got his aviator shades on. He's wearing his black karate gi. And he walks up and pulls out his DEA badge and says, "Now look here, fella. We're here to investigate some malfeasance done to some bodies. We're on official government business. And we need to get in there and take a look at them 2 chomping victims."
So Chris Riley, based on Patreon member Chris Riley, takes a look at the Elvis impersonator in a black key with a DEA badge, the Starfleet officer behind him, and the otherwise normally dressed person in ripped clothes.
Well, technically, Curtis is completely cloaked.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's more.
That's my Jedi robe.
I see. He looks at the badge, DEA. What? I don't understand what the DEA wants to look at shark attack victims for.
Yeah, we're making sure these attacks weren't perpetrated by, somebody just methed out.
And that is a thing you do now?
Yeah, it shows up in the teeth marks.
So, can we make manipulate someone move here?
Yeah, I think we're in the midst of that. So,
Well, again, I've got the highest charm with 0.
Yeah, Austin and I are both -1.
Yep.
So I guess one of them can help me out since we're all kind of talking to the Chris.
yeah, if you want to, helping out worked so well last time.
Okay.
Melvis will help.
Okay.
All right.
Because if I'm successful, Corey gets a +2 instead of a +1.
Oh,
That's
nice.
My helping hand
Oh,
talent.
cool.
So, Todd, if Melvis is going to play it cool, roll your cool to help him out.
Well, my cool is better than my charm. It's just a 0. That's a 7.
Well, that is a success, partial. You're going to give them a +1 to your roll, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger.
He actually gets a +2 because of my helping
Oh,
hand.
because you're helping in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to start a clock. It's called Elvis Spotted. And it's when people actually start to believe that Melvis is the real Elvis.
Yeah, we're in Florida.
Yeah. So it's not going to be that hard.
Good point.
So I'm going to go ahead and fill in one of those segments of the clock. This is a 4 o'clock. So that counts as 1 tick on that.
Okay.
But Corey, you have a +2 for your charm to this.
Okay. That's a 10.
Yes. So if you get a 10 plus, then the person you're manipulating will help you out for the reason you give them, which the guy looks at the badges. Well, hey, I guess you really are government agents. This looks authentic. You know, the real Elvis was a DEA agent. He kind of gives Melvis a searching look.
You know, that's right, he certainly was, but hold it right there, CR. I am not Elvis. My name is Melvis Prinsley, DEA agent.
Yeah, that makes me more suspicious.
Yeah, we're big fans.
Gotcha. Okay, look, he presses a button and the door buzzes and opens, and you guys can go into the morgue. And he takes you down to the locker room where all the meat is stored. I'm just kidding. That's where the bodies are.
Oh.
And he pulls out two, from the wall, the rollout refrigeration units, and there's most of a person on one, and the other's mostly limbs.
Cheney takes a look at the tray that's mostly limbs.
It's parts of legs, an arm, and some bits and pieces. So are you investigating the first one?
Yeah. First question, does he leave us alone?
No, he kind of goes and stands in the corner and is looking at his phone.
All right. Cheney was about to turn into a werewolf. Because of my shapeshifter monstrous move, I get a +1 to investigate anytime I'm using my wolf senses, like smelling and stuff like that.
I mean, if you can think of some way to distract him or get him to leave or just get him to buy it.
Can Curtis use act under pressure here to try to distract Chris?
Maybe. What's he doing here?
He's basically finding a way to distract Chris Raleigh from werewolves.
Yeah, I don't. So act under pressure is when there should be like some sort of danger or peril or like a monster's coming. So this would probably be like a manipulate or.
Okay. Can he try to manipulate him again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you've already done it once, so I'd say you get you could still use that bonus from Elvis.
Okay.
Excuse me, Melvis.
Okay, Curtis is going to ask Chris if he can show him the break room.
I've always been fascinated with break rooms of different cultures and jobs.
You don't even have to roll. He just stands up. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Let's go up the steps. You're going to love our Twinkie machine.
I'm allergic to any kind of cream fillings.
Okay, I have some dry cereal.
Flilled.
And Melvis and Cheney hear them walking up the steps. And
If there's Twinkies, Melvis is going with them.
they have a machine that makes hot Twinkies.
Oh.
They just got it.
Tell you what, one of them Twinkies is calling my name.
I'm not going to play air hockey with you because I got hurt last time. Some of that air blew on me.
So Melvis goes upstairs with them?
Yes.
Okay, you guys go into a very nice break room. Apparently Panama City Beach Morgue has a really good budget.
Well, so many people die there.
Yeah. And Cheney is free to continue his investigation in private.
All right, so the plan worked. Cheney is looking around very sharply, taking a look at everything, but he's also sweating, and that's because he's feeling that need to feed. Because my curse is feed, and I'll need to act under pressure to resist anytime I'm given the opportunity.
Well, you're alone, and there's bodies.
Yeah.
Just a little fucking buffet for old Cheney.
Yeah. So he waits until they're good and gone, and then he does these breathing exercises to control his screaming when he turns into a werewolf.
Oh, Lord.
What is a Lamaze?
It's like in Lamaze.
And then just turns into a werewolf.
Yeah, so he wolfs out.
I like how I think either The Howling or American Werewolf, both of those came out at essentially the same time. And they were the first werewolf movies where I think anybody went, I bet that hurts.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't just
Turning into a werewolf
Yeah,
would be
you don't-
painful.
Yeah, you don't just sit in a chair and slowly grow not only hair but a wife beater.
right.
You're
It looks like it hurts when it happens to Cheney. His spine deforms and pops. Hair just spurts out of his body.
Yeah. And then a button-down shirt just appears on you.
Yeah, that he rips.
So, yeah, he turns into a werewolf and begins kind of sniffing around the morgue.
Well, the first thing he does is he grabs one of the arms and just bites the hand right off and chokes that down. So you're going to have to resist first, Austin. You're going to eat the evidence.
Oh, okay, shit. All right.
Yeah, being a werewolf has downsides, asshole.
Uh-huh. So my act under pressure falls under cool, which I have a +1 in.
All right.
Oh, well, that's a 5.
Well, that is a failure. So The limbs are just far too appetizing for Cheney. He grabs one, bites off the hand, bites off part of the forearm, and chokes it down. And about 2 minutes later, that body is just gone, or just consumed. He rips open the other one, the other drawer, another drawer with another victim, and the toe tag says Mary Hill, Patreon member. Thanks, Mary.
Oh no.
And this one is more intact. Like the torso and arms are there, and the head, the legs are ripped off, and the entrails are spilling out. And there's bite marks. And Cheney kind of takes this all in as like a red film is covering his eyes, and he's just so hungry. There's bite marks on the neck and 2 places on the torso. And as he goes in to eat this one, trying to get himself under control, the eyes open and the mouth opens on the victim, displaying vampiric fangs, and Mary Hill grabs Cheney, and we'll end there.
Okay.
Mary Hill, the partial torso vampire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Holy Toledo, they got an original Atari 2600 up here.
Yeah, I didn't count on Austin being isolated alone for this, but I think it works out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is fun.
Next week, we'll pick back up with a werewolf fighting half of a vampire.
Cool.
I like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I do like Powered by the Apocalypse.
Yeah,
It's tough, man.
It's pretty tough to hit your rolls, but that's kind of fun.
yes, it is.
Yeah. And I like these characters a lot. This setup is a lot of fun.
Yeah, character creation is probably the best part of this game to me. It really gives you a lot to work with,
Yeah.
like narratively.
Absolutely.
Like way more than you expect when you first kind of look at the outline.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially once you start assigning histories to the other players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super good stuff. And I do have to say, it's kind of interesting to basically allot all of the actions that you would normally take into these ratings.
Yeah.
So that there's really never a question of like putting together, this skill with that attribute or this characteristic with that rating number, and it reduces it down to something very simple, which I do enjoy.
One thing I like is that all the character stuff is in one section, and though you have a lot of options, you don't have to refer to 3 other chapters in the book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you're running the game.
And I like that it is a completely 2d6 system.
Yeah.
And speaking of D6s, they have lots of them at NorseFoundry.com. Not only do they have D6s, they've got D4s, D8s, D12s, D20s.
Maybe a D100 if you're lucky.
Damn.
I thought they continued the D6s after the fires. No?
Oh,
Oh, well, you didn't hear it from me.
dear Lord.
And for the lady in your life, they've got a D69.
Dear Lord.
That's what the ladies like.
Oh, they beg for it.
Well, let me roll your dice again.
By the way, Melvis actually predicted all those fires in Hunk of Burning Love.
But yes, please, if you are in the market for dice, go to NorseFoundry.com. They've got a lot more stuff than dice. They've got all kinds of cool like merch and stuff, but mainly it's dice in all colors, all manner of materials. NorseFoundry.com. Enter promo code CHAM, that's CHAM, and save 10% on your order.
Yeah, I got a nice armoire the other day.
So also, if you like Norse Foundry and you're going to be at Gen Con, which when this episode drops, Corey, that should be a week, right?
It'll be coming up.
Yeah. Anyway,
Probably.
this will probably drop before Gen Con, and if not, disregard. Norse Foundry always has a great booth at Gen Con, and sometimes they have 2. But check them out there if you're going to be at the convention. Also, I will be at the convention, and if you see me, feel free to actually talk to me. I would love to talk to fans if you recognize me, though I don't guess my picture's shown a lot. But
Yeah, if you see a man wearing a cape
yeah.
that says BQ real big on the back, that will be Kyle.
Yeah.
Stop and say hello.
No, if you just see a dude who looks like Kyle's little cartoon logo.
It's me.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Austin
Yeah.
did a good job on that. He's often holding a glass of bourbon and a burning heart.
He was doing that the first time I met him.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Gen Con last time, they had a problem with the bourbon, not the heart. I thought that was going to be the real. No. They were like, you can't bring alcohol in here, sir. And I said, what about this? They were like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of bourbon,
Good one.
should you ever find yourself in Western Kentucky and would like a sip of some whiskey, go see our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right there on the banks of the Ohio River.
And if you're not in Paducah and are itching for some bourbon, just look up Captain Ron.
That's right, Captain Ron Bourbons. They've been in business since 1804, named after English pirate Captain Jonathan Ron, who was, of course, beheaded for witchcraft, but his bourbon continues to this day.
Yeah, don't pull any of the drawers in the bathroom either. Full of corpses. Some people.
This makes it worse. But thank you for listening to Bastard Quest. We do appreciate it. We appreciate all our listeners and fans and Patreon members and people who reach out to us on social media. We're on all the social medias, or most of them, or at least Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
And Insta.
We get the Blue Sky and the Threads.
That's true.
all
I'll
that,
have
yeah.
those, yeah.
Message me privately if you would like to know where to find us on the ham radio.
There you go.
But thank you for listening. I'm Colin.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.